Good afternoon. I'm James Sheard from the Accountancy people, and I've just been listening to George Osborne's autumn statement. There were no significant tax changes really this time. The only real change is there's a 3% stamp duty levy on buy-to-let landlords. The other changes are either quite technical or not significant to small business owners and to the self-employed who I service. So in a bit more detail, last summer there were significant changes. So remember that there was the dividend tax, which is new from April next year, and then also corporation tax is going down from the same time from 20% to 19%. But overall, those two changes, the dividend tax and the corporation tax, mean that small business owners will be paying 5% more tax from April next year, which is quite a significant change. Another big change was the tax treatment of buy-to-let landlords. At the moment, they get high rate tax relief on interest, and that will be phased out from April next year. But the Chancellor hasn't finished with buy-to-let landlords. This time there's the new stamp duty. So stamp duty of 3% in addition to the normal stamp duty will now be imposed, but again from April next year. And what is clear to me is that the Chancellor wants to increase home ownership, which means he wants fewer buy-to-let landlords, which means that he is changing the economics of being a buy-to-let landlord and making it less attractive. And I think that should tell buy-to-let landlords and potential buy-to-let landlords that there is a political risk from their activity, because quite frankly the Chancellor wants fewer of you. There are some other small changes. There's a new apprentice levy of 0.5%. Now that doesn't affect small businesses because it only starts if your payroll is over £3 million, which certainly doesn't affect any of my clients at the moment. There is also a £5 billion of tax savings he wants to make from closing tax loopholes. Now that's a bit something of a threat, because what he might consider to be a tax loophole, I might consider to be something that my clients just expect as a right. So I think we've got to be really careful to see what he's doing on these closing of loopholes. Now at the moment they're really quite technical, and in particular we were worried that he would change how contractors were going to be taxed. Now this time he hasn't changed contractors' tax. If you remember last time he reduced the expenses, so from April next year you'll be able to claim less expenses. And he's also introduced the dividend tax, which I've previously said. But for now, contractors are safe in other respects. The other main changes are really quite technical. Some small changes to capital gains tax that bring forward the revenue, but nothing that affects anybody in the next few years. And the other changes that are quite radical are all about spending. And spending doesn't really affect us as accountants. So therefore, the big change is quite a small change really. It's an increase in tax for buy-to-let landlords, and the rest of the things will just flow through from previous statements. So that's me. I'm James Sheard from the Accountancy people, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.